Hello and welcome to House Call. I'm Elizabeth Cohen, filling in for Dr. Sanjay Gupta. This week we're looking at some alternatives to traditional medicine that have become almost mainstream. Studies find that about a third of all Americans prescribe to at least one form of alternative or complementary medicine. Three of the most popular: chiropractic care, acupuncture, and massage therapy. Let's move on to an ancient form of medical care that's very popular in Asian cultures: acupuncture.
Oh, this one, sensation. Can you feel it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kristen Gorel turned to acupuncture after being diagnosed with a thyroid condition and feeling stressed after her daughter's birth. She now comes here about once a month. Her insurance doesn't cover acupuncture, so she pays about $70 for each treatment out of her own pocket. She says it's worth it.
Since I've been coming to see him, my allergies have disappeared, my thyroid has evened out, and I don't feel the effects of it anymore at all, and we're working towards trying to see if I can even get off of the medication for it.
Dr. Yang Li says the 5,000-year-old Chinese practice is really very simple. It's all about balancing the body's life force, or qi. During a typical session, Dr. Li checks the pulse to see how the heart is beating. He makes a tongue diagnosis and looks at the eyes, palms, and fingernails. He also listens. Tiny needles are then inserted into points of the body, said to stimulate energy channels that are believed to run throughout the system.
Can you feel a sensation here?
Yeah, a little bit warm.
Warm, okay.
Lee says he treats infertility in women and a lot of chronic diseases like joint pain, sleep disorders, and hypertension. Sometimes just paying attention to the body seems to do the trick. Lee says often after a session or two, a patient will make a healthy life change and no longer have any complaints.
Acupuncture and herbs, two ancient Chinese remedies, and believers swear by them. But Western medicine has been skeptical of the benefits of these Eastern practices. Channel 5's Dr. Stan Winokur here now to look into the practices in his special report, Alternative Medicine.
Jim, you know, those two therapies have been practiced in this country for years. But just how do they really work, and are they safe? According to those who believe, these jars contain a bit of medical magic. They're Chinese herbs, and people who come here to see Dr. Li are looking for cures for everything from sinus problems to hepatitis.
My skin changed the second day. It changed during the night after drinking the stuff for one day.
Julian Reed is a frequent visitor.
I also had really bad rheumatoid arthritis at the time, and now my joints aren't even swollen.
You won't find an examining room in Dr. Li's Buford Highway office. There's just a desk where he sits and simply takes your pulse, looks in your eyes, and listens to your problems.
Dr. Li can tell you what's wrong with you without you telling him. You know, he was able to tell me a lot of my symptoms.
Dr. Li has a medical degree from the United States, but it's his Eastern training that he practices here. He says Oriental medicine looks at the body as a holistic system, and illness occurs when your life forces are out of balance.
We consider the body have two life forces, which is a positive life force, we call the yang, and the negative life force, we call the yin. The two life forces in everybody have to balance. If the two life forces out of balance can cause the body have, you know, all kinds of the symptoms.
To put them back in balance, the doctor prescribes a mixture of herbs. His assistant fills the orders. The consultation is free. You only pay for the herbs.
We consider, you know, all the herbal, I would say, you know, the treating or the healing secrets. It's in the combination of the herb, not in the single herb.
Someone who's having trouble getting pregnant to conceive. I'm Health Editor Mark Picard. Modern Western infertility therapy meets ancient Chinese medicine. Next.
Sometimes, despite all the advantages of modern medicine, despite the latest techniques and procedures, a woman will not be able to get pregnant. And sometimes, as Health Editor Mark Picard points out, that's when the modern turns to the ancient with interesting results.
In the middle of the capital of the New South is a remnant of a culture thousands of years old.
Can feel it? Little bit?
Trained in China as a traditional doctor and an herbalist and acupuncturist, Dr. Yang Li begins his acupuncture session with Kimberly Smith. she is here for infertility.
I'm very open to everything.
Pilar Gigante and husband Andy Lakes have been trying to get pregnant for more than 3 years. She is now trying in vitro fertilization and acupuncture.
The holistic treatments, what have you. At this point, I'm just willing to try anything.
Emory infertility expert Dr. Ida Shanti has been sending her patients to Dr. Lee for 2 years since she heard about a friend who went to him for shoulder pain.
He told her that, okay, I'll make your shoulder better, but I'm telling you that you may get pregnant. And within 2 to 3 months, she got pregnant with twins. And I said, this is the man that we want.
Acupuncture says the body has 2 life forces, the yin and the yang.
The dark, the light, inner, outer, matter, energy, feminine, masculine. Always try to rebalance the yin and yang, then allow the body functioning properly.
Dr. Lee uses acupuncture to allow the body to heal itself, not an American concept.
Well, I just remember sitting in the office and thinking, what am I doing here? This journey has taken me to unexpected places.
Kristen Hunter now laughs about her ordeal with friend Leslie Goba. But things were grim last fall after 2.5 years of trying to get pregnant when she spoke with Dr. Shanti.
She said, you may think this is hocus pocus, but I'd like you to think about trying acupuncture. And at that point, I was open to trying anything.
Dr. Lee explained that acupuncture would relax Kristen and increase the blood flow to her uterus. Her last acupuncture session was in December. By February 1st, she was pregnant.
If acupuncture prepared me to respond so well, then of course I'm grateful for having it, but there's no way I can know the exact role that it played.
Kristen Hunter is a touch skeptical and completely pregnant. Modern Western attitude meets ancient Chinese culture.
We shouldn't stop at one level and say, okay, that's all. Medicine is the only way to do it. We should try other means.
Dr. Lee knows it's difficult for Americans to understand acupuncture, but he also knows Americans understand
But I don't
results.
think in the spring yet.
This is Health Editor Mark Picard, 11 Alive News Tonight.
A recent study in Germany concluded that acupuncture improved the success rate of in vitro fertilization by 50%. 2 years ago, when Dr. Shanti started sending her patients to acupuncturist Dr. Lee, her colleagues laughed at her. Now some are sending their patients.